Hello, it's Chloe here. And in this update, I want to share with you some of the frequencies and energies that are coming through for for next week, which is leading up to the solstice and then the new moon in Capricorn on the 23rd of December. So quite a lot that I want to share with you around this. So let's just start with the overall year in general. So you'll have heard me quite a few times if you've been following me in my journey over the last year, that in June was literally the tipping point of the tipping year, as it were. So to me, like 2022 was like the pivot year, and the solstice in June was the tipping point of the tipping year. And what do I mean by that? So it's literally like in this whole transition that we're in, the planetary transition that we are in, it's like this year has been like the absolute point of that transition of the death rebirth, right? Because for any change, like permanent change, permanent transformation to occur, there has to be a death rebirth. And of course, the astrology has been showing all of that, has been, providing the blueprint, the cosmological blueprint for that to occur. And a lot of it is around the unplugging of our energy fields into the 3D matrix. So the 3D matrix on an energetic level does not exist on this planet. We moved in, or should I say the planet moved into the fifth dimensional in 2012. However, it is taking us time to readjust, and part of that readjustment, or the major part of that readjustment, is the unplugging of that 3D matrix that's kind of, how would I say, that's kind of ingrained and set into a hologram. We're needing to shift that holographically so that we can sustain ourselves at a foundational level on the 5D. Now, there are some of us, some of humanity who are, really feeling drawn, almost compelled, like it's like becomes a really big focus of actually opening up even more on that 5D to enable a lot more of a multi-dimensional access and awakening going on through that. But as a whole, the majority of humanity, the majority of people are going through that process to awaken to more of their spiritual sense of self and to identify more with that than being in this state of pure separateness, pure disconnect. And we are all at different levels in a process of unplugging and really supporting ourselves to be fully anchored in the 5D. And like I said, for those of us that are already spiritually aware, and really supporting ourselves, like day-to-day, consistent day-to-day energy work, that's so important, and already doing that. If that's what you're doing already, that day-to-day consistent energy work, then what's happening is that it's supporting you, as long as you're running the right frequencies, to open up more on that multi-dimensional level, right? So there's a lot more technology that is trying to run through your system. Your highest chakras are trying to come more on board, awaken. There's a whole technology, a whole spiritual technology that's involved in that. And so for everybody, 2022 has been an incredible year of transition and change, predominantly that change has been inner change, right? Because change has to come from within first. If you try and push change outside of yourself, i.e. if you don't change energetically within yourself first and just push to change your outer level, it doesn't hold, it doesn't stick, it doesn't work. And so I would imagine that quite a lot of you have had a lot of times where you know, you've gone into introspection, or you've been pushed into introspection, you've been pushed to go within and really connect with what is important to you right now. What's the most important? What are your values? Where do you want to spend your time? What you know, connecting more to what your purpose is, and questioning a lot of life, really, and things that maybe in the past were okay, but now just don't seem okay anymore. And you're ready to make change through that. And so I see this new moon coming up on the 23rd of December as an absolute ideal opportunity to, one, kind of review this year and really see what was going on for you in this year. And like I said, for a lot of you, okay, there might not have been much going on the outer, but a lot of inner work going on. And the more that you were aware of that, the more you're used to going into introspection and doing energy work, going within, the more you would have been able to connect to that process and really amplify that process within you. There is a huge shift of energy now coming in, heralded by this solstice coming up on the 21st of December. And then we've got the new moon like a couple of days later, which is in Capricorn. So Capricorn is really all about manifestation, and really it's about manifestation, I feel, for the long term. So I feel a lot of what's gone on this year for us is getting clear on who it is we really want to be. What is the life we want to lead? How do we want to be in this world? What impact do we want to have in this world? What are our values? What's important to us? And pulling our resources away from things that do not feed us or work for us anymore. Because there's a lot around resources, right? So yes, there's resources to do with food, to do with oil, everything that's playing out globally. But it's about your inner resources, as in just your physical energy. Like, you've only got so much physical energy in a day that you can focus in on. So what is it that you want to put more energy into? And so therefore, what do you want to retract your energy from? Now, this could be just in your general environment. It could be if you own your own business. It's you know, reviewing all of that this year, and what was going on for you this year, and what would you like to change, and how would you like to move forward in a new way? Because it's really about connecting to that highest potential of you and embodying that, and from that state of being, taking the actions that you need. And so I feel by just, even if it's just spending half an hour, kind of just looking back over this year and getting really clear, and maybe writing down on a piece of paper what it is you want to fully let go of and are not wanting, that you don't resonate with anymore. And what is it that you want to now put in place in your life, in your business, with your family, with your friends, in the work that you do, in your home, moving forwards. And the solstice, I feel, is a perfect time for that, because the solstice energies are really high frequency, and there's a whole new energy coming in. But of course, that energy cannot fully land within you at a really deep cellular level if you haven't done the clearings within yourself and let go, because you have to make energetic space. And then this new moon on the 23rd is really about new beginnings. Now, it's not just about this new moon though. If you look at the astrology as a whole, there is so much around brand new beginnings, like really amplified around brand new beginnings, along with a lot of the energy that we've seen over the last couple of years. That energy is starting to disappear. So although I believe the changes will carry on, it's like we had the impact of it, and there's still, the energy is still running, as it were. Although the energy is, even though the energy is running, the force of it has receded. So I hope that makes sense. So there's still like an artifact of what's going on, and that is going to carry on for a few number of years. However, and this is the really big point, is that now the energy is shifting dramatically to a whole new beginning. And a big part of these codes, a big part of this huge energetic shift is over the solstice, and then again in March. And what we're going to see, I know that some astrologers are saying this is like the real beginning of the age of Aquarius. I don't think it's necessarily one point, but it's like a several points coming together over the last couple of years around the astrology. But the thing is, there is a big shift coming in where there's going to be a different focus, and the focus is going to be a lot more on the spiritual, a lot more on communities, a lot more around grassroots up and not top down, right? Which is what it's been and what's been clearing a lot. So it's really around the sovereignty and empowerment, and about each one of us co-creating our own reality as we wish to experience in this world. And the energy, and I suppose what I'm trying to say here is the energy is here for you to do that, but you need to do the inner work within yourself to be holding those new frequencies within yourself. And so there's a massive download on the 21st over this solstice, and again the new beginnings opening up, that energy pushing on the 23rd. All planets go direct in January. I think by the 22nd of January they'll be all direct. So there's a huge momentum of forward energy, and that will carry on all the way till May. So I feel that first half of the year there's a lot of energy supporting you to put the new in place and to really solidify that within yourself. But yet what we're going to also see is still a breakdown of the old as well. So my advice would be is to keep moving forwards, not to contract, which is very easily done when there's a lot of fear around, to really keep tuning in, to be guided by your higher self, by your inner guidance, and to take action when it feels aligned for you, to keep your energetic state open to new potentialities, new opportunities, new fields of ways of being, really, so that you can co-create moving forwards, especially for those of us who are very spiritually aware and have been on this path for a while, because now is the time where on the planet there is going to be much more acknowledgement and a grounded sense of spirituality taking place, where it's going to become more and more important for people to be connecting in that way and to be working within themselves in that way. And this is really how we birthed New Earth, through each one of us following our own intuition, taking action. And it is uncomfortable, without a doubt. It's uncomfortable because you have to step out of your comfort zone. So if you just stay comfortable and or even contract to try and stay comfortable because things are starting to feel uncomfortable, you will not move forward. You will not move forward, because you have to step out of your comfort zone and be comfortable in the uncomfortableness. Have to be. Because it's your ego that's making you want to stay comfortable, because the ego feels threatened through the change. But it's only by being able to flow with the change, embrace the change, embrace the rebirth, that you'll be able to navigate these flows, because there is so much high frequency energy coming down, so many new codes coming through, which is so exciting. But you have to be able to navigate that flow, which means there has to be a consistent state of transference. So what do I mean by that? So transference is when you transfer your state from one energetic being to another. And that is, there's an energy that I work with through Transference healing, is a modality that I work with to support you to do that. It's an ancient energy that the ancient Egyptians used to enable that. And that is where you get the most profound change and transformation, because you're changing at an energetic state. Like I said before, if you're just fully focusing on the outside to change stuff, it's not really going to sustain itself, because on an inner level you've not made the shift. You have to, the process is inside out, not outside in. It's inside out. And so every new moon, inside my temple membership on the Activate plan, I run a full Transference healing on the group, which means that you receive these profound frequencies every month to support you to keep moving forward with that momentum. Because what it's doing is it's pushing you through that death rebirth, right? Because there's got to be always a death first. And that's the other thing. You can't rebirth without the death first. So what that means, what does the death mean? Well, that's a very much of a divine feminine frequency. And it's really around surrender and letting go. And so there's going to be emotions, there's going to be states of being, there's going to be identities, there's going to be ways that you're perceiving things that need to shift within you to enable you to upgrade your energy field and tap into a higher potentiality of who you are. So another way is to say that is that you're needing to unplug from the 3D matrix and shift your hologram to build a new hologram that enables you to co-create your world through that. Because at the end of the day, it's all about frequency and energy. And what I do in the membership is, on the Activate plan, is you actually receive this energy every month. So it's super potent, very powerful. And I have hundreds of members who, we all come together. So wherever you are in the world, in your location, we all come together and to receive this energy. And so I receive this energy as well, because I just become a vessel. Like, I'm a vessel for the energy, and the energy runs through me for that. And so it's going to really support you to make those changes that you really want to make. I also share a little bit of what's come through in the healing in terms of what to watch out for, so that you can stay super aware of it. So for this upcoming new moon, upgrade, this healing that I'll be facilitating, the energies that came through, these are just like 1/50th of the energies that have come through, but I just want to share a little bit of it so that in preparation, so you understand an aspect that's coming through. And we're part of what I feel the work that we're going to do in this upgrade is, one is around literally supporting this process, as in supporting your psyche, supporting you energetically to be able to go with the flow of that. Because what happens for most people is they can sense these changes. Like, so on a conscious level, they say they want to change, right? They say they want to change, but actually when it comes to it, it brings up a huge amount of fear. Because when you're in that change process, you're like in the middle of, energetically, you're in no man's land. Because you've got one foot in the old, which you know, and it's solid, but you've got one foot in the new, but that new has not birthed yet, so it's invisible. And that is very, very hard. When you feel vulnerable, you feel overwhelmed, you feel confused, you feel very fearful. You almost feel like you're dying, or you feel like you're not going to survive, or it's not going to work out, because the new that's trying to birth is not solidified yet. And that takes a huge amount of leap of faith, really does, and holding a light in that process. And so I feel a part of the energy that's coming through, which is that butterfly energy, is supporting you to be able to navigate that energetically within yourself, so that you can trust that process to manifest the reality that you wish to manifest in your life. Because no one is going to do that for you except for you, right? It's only going to come through you doing that within yourself. No one can do that for you. I hold a space, I run energy for the group. I give recommendations. I have like over 50 different frequency meditations that you can use daily, as many times a day, to support you to keep shifting your frequency. But you, at the end of the day, have to do that inner work. But I hold a space, I hold a very high frequency space to support you to do that, right? And that is highly supportive to have that available to you in that process. So what that means is, like, 24/7, whatever going on, even if it's the middle of the night, you can log in and you can find a meditation that suits you right there. So let's say you're pulling up a lot of fear. So, for example, off the top of my head, I know I've channeled through one of my frequency meditations, which is frequency fear shifter. So that might be, for example, one that you want to do. I also have like the online oracle cards that you could just literally shuffle the cards, and a card will come up, and then a corresponding meditation for you to do. Bearing in mind, these aren't meditations as you know it. It's light encoded. There's an energy, there's a frequency, there's a transmission. It's encoded with this transference frequency behind it as well. So not only do you receive that transference frequency in the healing, every time you listen to any of my frequency meditations, there is that energy that's running behind it. And some of them have other technology as well, depending. Like if you're tapping into a Merkaba meditation, there's some other technology that's running behind that. And like, this is not like technology I just kind of make up and say, oh, that's what I'm doing. This is like a whole process. It's a whole journey that's taken me years of inner work and downloads to kind of be able to really understand what's been going on in that whole journey, in that whole process. So that is one aspect. I feel just being able to trust, because at the end of the day, you have to trust in yourself. You have to trust in yourself. You have to trust in your vision. You have to trust in your belief. Inside the Activate membership level, I also have a whole workshop on what I call the North Star Vision, and the North Star Vision Quest, and that is to support you to get clearer on your intentions and what it is you want to manifest. If you don't know what you want to manifest, how are you going to manifest it? So super important that you do that alongside as well working with the Divine Feminine and going into divine will as well. But it's also important to be able to direct your energy as well, intentionally. Super important, because if you do not direct your energy intentionally at times, it will be your subconscious to take over, which it will be your programming, which has got you to where you are right now in your life. So if your life is not where you want it to be, there are going to be programs that you need to deprogram from your system so that you can co-create in a new way. Right? And so that's going to be a big part of it. Also, we had triad energy that's coming through as well next week in our new moon. And that is really, so my sense is, as you go through a whole review of this year and get a sense of, what is it you want to release and let go of? Whether it's relationships, whether it's ways of being, whether it's a way of thinking, whether it's a whole, like maybe your job, maybe it's to do with where you live, whatever it is you now feel that is not in alignment with who you wish to become, there's going to be a letting go process, and that can sometimes create a ripple. And so I feel it's super important that you're able to hold your sense of self, your sense of self-worth, who you are, hold your light whilst that ripple's occurring and you are taking action on what you need to do to make that clearing. So I hope that makes sense. So I feel that is going to come through. Also, that means also is being able to disconnect from energy cords to things, to other people, to situations, to events that have been locking you in at a lower vibration. So I feel that we're going to be working with that to support you to clear those cords so that you can move on and not get drained. It can be very, very draining when you've got those sort of conflicts going on. And those conflicts could be really subconscious as well, right? That you don't even know that those cords are there. Or they may be really abundantly clear because you keep on thinking about the person or you keep on thinking about the situation, and that will be draining your resources. So there's a lot here around resources and getting clear where you want to put your resources and shifting areas where you are draining your resources, whether it's your time, whether it's where you're thinking and where you're putting your energy, where you're putting your focus, all of that. All of that is what I think a lot of this year has been about, so that you can gain more clarity. And now I feel as we come to the end of the year, moving into a whole new beginning, hopefully you get more clarity on what your values are and where you place that value, your resources, where you want to place those resources, and what you want to co-create in the future, and then start to take action on that. So like, I think Mars retrograde finishes officially around the 11th or 12th of January. Then you're a bit in that shadow phase, aren't you? But basically from, like mid-January, and it said by the 22nd of January, all those planets are forward. So that is going to really give you that you're going to have so much energy behind you to then take action. So use this time now to get super clear. You may already want to start taking action on certain things if you're already clear. If you're not clear, then I know this new moon healing will support you, and also just listening to what I'm saying, I feel it's going to really support you, because it's gonna make you think. You're gonna start tuning in, and you're gonna think, you know what, actually, yeah, like, why am I feeding this thing? Why am I feeding this thing? It's not what what I want, where I want to put my resource of my thoughts, of my frequency, of my energy, because ultimately your consciousness, your frequency is your currency. That is really one of the most important things. So be super aware of where that is, what's going on in that, and what are your thoughts, how are you running your energy, what are you thinking and feeling on a moment-to-moment level, and whatever it is you're thinking or feeling and what's going on, is it serving you to co-create your highest potential, right? So a lot of that we're going to be working, I think, simultaneously. So I've got a Solstice event coming up where I'll give the link below, but it's really around multidimensional awakening. I feel a lot of this solstice energy, the codes coming through, right? So there's a huge downloaded code. I feel it's around multidimensional awakening. It's around the inner child, clearing inner child. I feel it's, it's about being able to tune into the grid, being able to open up to these codes, clear. You've got to always clear. So I think there's a lot around the inner child clearing, around all of that, to support you to hold that innocence, hold that purity, hold that wonder, hold that magic in your consciousness, right? So again, what is draining you and what is stopping you holding that high level of consciousness? And so a lot of it is around inner child stuff, I feel, whether it's this lifetime or past lifetime, and ways that you are holding your current reality in place, that as you clear aspects of this inner child and as you get clearer on where you're focusing your resources in terms of what you think, feel, and where you place your energy and what you do with your time, will shift. Will just shift naturally as a consequence of that clearing within yourself. And so for some of you, that's going to bring so many more of those light codes as they come through in Solstice. You're actually going to be able to start to absorb them a lot more, and that, I feel, over time is going to really support you in that multidimensional awakening, because you're going to be able to embody more of those crystal child codes, right? Those crystal child codes, which are so pure, so beautiful, such high frequency, but we do need to clear that a lot more 3D programming around that to get to that point. So that's a solstice. So if you wish to join me for that, that would be amazing. And also please do share this information to anyone who you feel would benefit. We have a lot of people already joining in, which is amazing. It gives me so much joy to know and to sense all these people, all of you, all around the world, people from all over in their own location. And so when I facilitate the live ceremony, so it's going to be a live ceremony on the 21st, when I facilitate that, it's like we're these points of light all over the globe, and we unite through that, which is incredible. But also, which I feel is so going to be so potent within all of that, is that I facilitate this on my sacred site. So I live here. I'm very blessed to be living on a sacred site. And so the energies, whatever I do, is so amplified from this grid location as well. And so what it's going to support you to do is to absorb as much of those light codes that you can do. But I'm also including some frequency meditations to support you in that whole process. So I've got one on the crystal matrix attunement, support you to attune. It's very much dolphin energy, to attune to the matrix, the crystalline grid matrix, right? Not the 3D matrix, because you're already plugged into that. That's what we want to be letting go of. And also the crystalline codes meditation to support you to clear any inner child wounding, whether it's from this lifetime or past lifetime, so that you can resonate in your heart at a much, much higher frequency. And I've also included gnome manifestation. I love gnomes. We have a lot of gnome energy here on our sacred site. And gnome energy, they're doers. Gnomes are doers, right? And they're really good when it comes to manifestation and getting things done, which is half of the aspects of manifestation. There's another big half to it as well, but once you've got clarity on what it is that you know, the action that you want to take, gnomes energy and pulling into it is going to support you to do that. So you've got all of that as well to support the whole solstice. Now, although I'm facilitating it live, obviously, because we've got people from all over the world, for some people, you know, that might be a time they can join, for others it might not. So of course it will be all recorded, and you'll have it as a replay, and you'll have accessibility to all of that up until the end of January. And I feel that's just going to really support you over this next month, 6 weeks, to make those changes that you need to make so that you are all ready energetically to really move forward with this energy when everything really pushes forward at the end of January, right? So that's really, it's exciting, really, really exciting in all of that. So those are the two things coming up. So if you do feel drawn, love you to join us for one of them or for both of them. I will put the links down below. So one is for the Solstice event, and the other is for my monthly temple membership, and this one is the Activate plan. So that's kind of like the top plan that you can have, so that you get the new moon transference healing, and you also get a full moon ceremony. So that's all the clearings that go down every month, very purifying that to the astral plane, which is so important. And you also get all my Crystal Merkaba grid journeys, which really is a very high technology around sacred sites, and a lot of just really powerful codes in all of that. And also like 50 plus frequency meditations that you can use every single day, as well as all sorts of different workshops, including the North Star Vision Quest, and also the manifestation workshop as well. And all of this is all to support you, literally to be your, you know, to be who you were meant to be in this lifetime, to really embody your, ultimately your divinity codes, right? And so I do also run other programs if you do want to go deeper with me in all of that. But if you are new to my world, that is where I would suggest you start. The solstice, doing the solstice, it's $44, or going into the membership as well, whatever you feel drawn, you know, whatever feels right for you. And yeah, working in that way. So take care, have an amazing solstice, whatever you're doing, whether you're joining me and group with other light workers and you know, spiritually aware souls, or whether you're doing something with yourself or a different group. Have an amazing solstice, really open yourself up and absorb as much as you possibly can. And for those of you that are joining me for the new moon transference healing on the 23rd, I also so look forward to that, because I know it's going to be such a new shift of energy coming through, and it's just going to help just tie up some of those ends, that clearing a bit, to really be able to make a much stronger rebirth within yourself. Okay, take care, bye.